Darkness is a fear many consider to be primal, instinctual. It is so instilled that horror is rooted in the abyss, the void. Some never rise out of this fear, but I will break that mold by beating Outlast's hardest achievement, but even harder. In this series, we tackle the hardest Xbox achievements in video game history, and add more mentally debilitating challenges only a true Murkoff resident would know. The hardest achievement in question is the Energiser achievement, awarded for beating the hardest difficulty without ever changing your batteries. Doesn't sound too bad, until you realize that the hardest difficulty is a permadeath, coated in pitch black. But see, I want to make this even harder. So, 3 extra conditions have been added. First, along with Energiser, I can never ever use the camcorder. Secondly, I will be going for the claustrophobe achievement, which eliminates the use of hiding in lockers and under beds. Last but not least, I have removed the ability to close doors, so if I'm ever chased, I cannot close it to stun them or buy time. This gets very intense, very quickly. So, enjoy the show. We play as Miles Upshur, an investigative reporter who is informed by a whistleblower of the unholy acts taking place at Mount Massive Asylum. Miles, put that down! Damn it. Adios. There will be some exceptions for the challenge for the times Miles had an investigative need to film snuff. But other than those few cases, camcorder will not be tolerated.
No! So if we raise our camcorder, we instantly fail. If we close the door, we instantly fail. If we die, we instantly fail. I haven't practiced much more after the halfway mark. This is definitely going to end in something bad, honestly.
Off the rip, I knew this wasn't going to be the run.
I don't think nothing ever will come from me not practicing.
But what's a challenge without a little bit of fun? Following our trespassing, we're jumpscare, then run past the cries of Vlad's latest victim, just to be the next. Surviving impalement, we're met with bald Kenneth Copeland, and prayed over like the holy relic I am. Shortly after our attempts to interview the locals, Homeboy decides it's finally time to GTFO. Besides the fact we're surrounded by windows, I ultimately decide the next course of action is to grey rob, then booking it to the security room. This is the first part of the run where hiding is incentivized to the max. In my previous attempts to figure out a suitable challenge in which no running was an addition, I was severely stuck here. On Insane, Chris is a one-hit kill to us, so I tried parkouring and camping the sides, but I just end up getting flung across the room like someone's girlfriend. It was only after finding out a glitch where if we crouched at the door, the spot would be perfect, as Chris didn't have his knockback anymore. But thankfully I removed that god-awful rule, since sprinting past proves fairly consistent results. It's now time to turn on the generator Father Martini so thankfully turned off. After our little goose chase with Chris, we squeeze into the basement. Besides that earlier predicament, I'd say this room probably took a bit more planning and routing, since the entire place is laced with black with shimmers of light, like the generator or the light above the pump doors. For the understanding of this, I'll be using some of the findings presented by Chicken Ninja 42's video on Outlast, where he beat the games without a camcorder, so check him out. This room consists of 2 pumps, a breaker, and the generator itself, all guarded by our first normal variant. But, just like any first, they break your heart. In this case, our skull. Nightmare and Insane share the same challenges besides the permadeath, so every variant, which is one of these fellas, are 2 crank yanks, ending our suffering, while characters like Chris and the like are true one-pump chumps. In this room, we have to activate 2 pumps, flip the breaker, and restart the generator. After our first pump is turned on, Johnny Sin's inbred cousin decides it's time to make an appearance at the family gathering. My strategy is to pre-open the right door beforehand, then turn both pumps in succession. But the hillbilly on the other hand...
Oh, fuck you.
His pathing is to roam the generator clockwise, unless I was too far out like that one time. Avoiding him on the left, I'd creep into the hallway where we flip the breaker. Just like Chris, it's pushed that we should hide, but since we can't, we had to find other means.
See, there you go.
Apparently, there's a phasing exploit where we can mantle an obstacle and phase through another entity also mantling. You'll see I heavily abuse this trick later on. Or me. My plan leaving the breaker was to jump over the first obstacle and meet him at the second to do the exploited mantling trick. But due to circumstances,
A little cardio wouldn't kill you?
I stuck to waiting at the first obstacle, then dash. Reaching the computer, we're interrupted by Father Martin doing what any good priest does, drugging up boys and taking them to his place. An inmate helps a brother out and we're directed to follow the blood. In doing so leads us down the drain to two fine gentlemen. My plan of attack was to pre-open this door, then masturbate this guy from the butt into this room. Until he whipped out his plan of attack.
Fucking reason coming to this room? Or beat me to death? 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 Yo, go away. This has not happened, by the way. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Until he whipped out his plan of attack. The idea was to stand upon the bed and wait until he gets bored and pisses off. On attempt 5, he finally walked away and left the area, which was what I wanted! After slamming that button, we continued on until we were warmly welcomed by the Dingling twins. They told me to meet them in the showers, but I told them I'm more of a watcher, so I jumped out the window and into the camera room.
I said I like to watch!
A cushioned fall later, we're met with Chris Hansen once more. Honestly, I thought most of these spots with Chris were going to be insane, but they were pretty predictable and easy once you knew what was going to happen. Doesn't mean I didn't have Brown in my jorts, but he was fairly consistent. Into the sewers. As soon as we're down here, guess who else is? Daddy Pig. You'd think he has speed hacks, but I think he just keeps falling through the floor.
You gonna do superhero landing? Wait for it! Woo! Superhero landing! Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
Since someone forgot to flush, we're directed to turn 2 valves for the prison block and female ward in order to drain the water. My first time playing, I tried to go left, but I was met with a hand as a choker. This time I sprinted straight to the right and quickly turned the valve. If he did that in a timely manner, Chris would still be walking over. There's 2 obstacles where we can abuse that mantle exploit, the first of which we passed getting here. Like I said earlier, if you are speed, you'll be able to turn the valve and meet Chris at his fan booth. There we mantle to the right of him to not take damage and blitz to the last valve. Crawling through the pipe, Chrissy pops up again. This time we wait a smidge, then book it to the ladder. Once there, we're safe. After some of the darkest paddling I've taken thus far, we meet back up with our bestie in this huge room. Chris is back at the front and center, sharing the spotlight with our ticket out of here. Going into the section, I was mortified to say the least. In this water you can't run, and since you have to avoid Biggie, I didn't know what else to do, until I remembered my ways. In the way of a true coward, I hugged the left wall. Since running was useless, I jumped repeatedly. I would hold it all the way until I was in direct sight of the ladder. Then I'd hop like there was no tomorrow. Following my grand victory, I decided to chase the silly streaker into the male ward. Already in the thick of it, we dropped down into one of the most heart-dropping chase sequences. Since we can't close doors behind, every lingering second my back is turned is another second one of the frat guys can smack me with their pipe.
I'm shit next. I'm shit next. I'm shit next.
One of them, are you? Quick, get in the dumbwaiter if you want to live.
Open the fucking thing!
Yes. Dr. Ass Cheeks. He's such a tease. When it came to crafting up this witch concoction of a video, Dr. Traeger scared me only a little. Because when I first played this game about 7 years ago, I remembered him being super difficult, and I was even stuck on him for a while, but that wasn't the case now, cause
I'm a big kid now.
as it turns out, General Krieg is probably the fastest part of this game. The game is just absolutely horrifying when you don't know where the hell to go, and on top of that, the obstacles take a millennia to move. So thankfully, after making our freshly squeezed Traeger juice, we run into Padre Martin. He tells us to meet him outside. Before we do that, we climb into a little problem. The cafeteria is set ablaze by Johnny Storm. In order to progress, we have to turn off the sprinkler system. Oh yeah, it's also being patrolled by Chris.
Why do we have to do this? Let it burn!
In order to turn on the sprinklers, we have to turn on 2 pumps, then the sprinklers. After some deducing or whatever, I've narrowed my plan to running. Yep, just running. And even some NFL plays. After turning on the sprinklers, we make it through the now extinguished cafeteria, and into jump scare! Not sorry. After that comes the kryptonite of this challenge. The courtyard is notoriously the hardest chapter when going for the Energizer achievement, mainly due to it all looking like this. I knew this was going to be the level that makes or breaks me. In this level, there is barely any light, and even some glimpses of lightning illuminating my path. Fortunately, there are no enemies right now, so we can take our sweet time and make sure we get it right. Coming out of the asylum, we need to grab a key from this shed, and unlock the door on the other side of the fountain. Shortly after we're tickled by Billy, I use a ladder to get onto the roof. Next, I crouch and even wait for some lightning to make sure my path is clear. After making a quick jump, I go back to crouching in order to tell where I am. Since the lighting in this area is useless, I have to resort to crawling along and looking for where the bubble ends. If you pay attention, the raindrops are outside of this circle, and if the flat plane is interrupted by say a 3-dimensional shift, like this ramp, then the bubble would shift accordingly. By this change, I can alter how I maneuver the rest of this level. So all I'll be doing is just following this method and adjusting to fit where I'd be on the roof. Once we get past, we have to do some more hardcore parkour and reach the next loading section of the game. Jumping over the fence opening, we meet back up with our long lost friend. Chris will start patrolling this section, but if you just hold the left at a walking pace, we can get onto the ledge on the other side consistently. The next part wasn't so consistent.
What? He's never done that. No. Nope. He did it again.
We arrive back where...
Then this section, so... What?!
Back at the gazebo, I attempt to pull the glitch again. At this point in the challenge, my grip had started to slip. I had been so efficient at getting further, but all that knowledge was somehow blocked by my mental retardation. Staying at Murkoff this long had prolonged effects on my psyche. I legitimately started regressing. My next couple attempts slumped from chapter 5 down to chapter 4 for 2 attempts. One of them, I even pulled out my camcorder.
No!
It didn't stop there. I spent nearly 6 hours streaming attempts at this point. Earlier I had been attempting a glitch trick I had seen in Without Cameras video, where they rapidly hit crouch and for whatever reason, Chris was never able to grab them. So in my attempts I tried, but after my colossal failures and hours of life wasted, I decided on a new approach. To stay true to the nature of the challenge, I approached the dark willingly. I instead ran away from it like the game intended, but in a calculated way. If any of you saw that god-awful Limbo video, you know I'm absolutely atrocious when it comes to timing. So, if we stay exactly right here before the chase trigger, we can line up and take 3 left turns every 3 seconds, avoiding Chris and the gazebo altogether.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1001, 1002, 1003. I mean, that's peanut butter jelly, baby.
Then crawling under and into the female ward. Once we scrambled through the window, we're flashed by Father Martin. He tells us to meet him on the upper floors, but since there are multiple locked doors, we're forced to scavenge for the keys. The first of which is locked in this laundry chute with McStuffins. The chute needs 3 fuses, which is scattered across this floor. along with 3 pleasant variants. When trying out routes, I initially got stuck trying to do certain rooms, those being these rooms. These mainly failed as it caused enemies to patrol differently, and made other areas significantly harder. What I found to work best was this way. This area really sucks because closing doors is such a luxury, but since it's not, we'll have to tuck ourselves in corners and listen to sound cues.
So we're gonna go, we went to the right, obviously. And then we're going to see this right over here. Okay, we're gonna wait here. Potential, man. Definitely potential here. So what I'm looking for is the outline of the guy, and I don't see his outline yet. Yeah, see him? I don't know if you guys can see him. He's really small, but he's the only guy moving in the background, in that area, and that down the hall. Okay, he just passed. What we're gonna do is we're gonna crouch right here behind the wall. Okay, I'm gonna run. Let's grab this before he kills us. We're gonna continue running until we get to this safe spot. We're not chancing it. They can't enter back here. Everyone, this is safe. He's f***ing camping there, isn't he? Oh, I f***ing know you little bastard. Yeah, oh, I f***ing knew it. Alright, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this fuse over here and then book it. Now what we have to be careful of, oh fuck, he's already here. We're gonna play Ring Around the Rosies. You guys like Ring Around the Rosies? Yes, I'm right here. Look at me. Look, Miles Upshur right here.
At this point, I wasn't risking anything if I didn't have to. I knew these jackoffs could two-tap me, so I held my life closely. Once we got all the fuses and insert them, we press the button, and the chute drops down. After some backtracking, we grab the key from Mr. Security Guard and hike it back up to the locked door on the second floor. Yet again, following the blood leads us to some Gorn. After eluding the Hog Bros, we platform across to the other side of the room, but ultimately lose the camcorder. Oh well. Fine. We have to go and retrieve the camcorder after it took a nosedive. Miraculously, this area is super well lit. If only it was this way all the time. Once we retrieve the camera, I instantly pocket that crap and head back up to Father Martin. Alrighty, time for
What? What happened? It like collapsed and I was on top, but then when it was falling, like I fell through or something?
It has been hit after hit. Every single attempt restarting back to the beginning. And now I didn't even know what was ending me. But what's a challenge without a little fun?
That's what I'm talking about.
Finally returning to the administration block, we had to find a key to meet up with Father Martin at the church. Retrieving said key, we drop down and step to the side, so Dingling will hit, key in hand, we make it back to the elevator area and unlock the door. After watching The Passion of the Father, we grab the key to the elevator and dip, but not like a potato chip, cause Chris is hungry.
Oh fuck, I forgot what to do after this. Oh thank god, I know that.
Onward out of the underground lab. Never mind. Once Chris Chan is minced meat, we learn more lore about the Wall Rider and what is even happening. After learning from Dr. Wernick, who is supposed to be Dust, informs us the only way to stop the Wall Rider's reign is to kill the host, Billy. And to kick the kid in crutches, we have to take out his IV tubes.
Alright guys, you guys ready for Stair Simulator?
After our leap of faith comes, another small spot could end us. All we've got to do is just stay to the right and thank the Murkoff execs who signed off on glow-in-the-dark archways.
And now just the last thing in the entire game. Okay, that's okay, that's scripted. Holy shit. I didn't fucking see it. I didn't fucking see it. Holy shit, thank God. Walked around the entire thing, by the way. I walked around the entire thing, by the way. Now it's time for our daily dose of lead, everyone. Hey, hey guys. So, can I tell you something? I work for Energizer, okay? Oh shit, they're Duracell. Please show up. An entire day's worth, and I don't even get to see the fucking achievement pop up. Oh my goodness, guys. There you have it.
Darkness has always been a fear, but whether you learn to outlast it and find the light is up to you. Whether it's playing a video game surrounded in the unknown, or a situation that feels inescapable, it's possible to try and look for the things that make it escapable. Just know there are people all around wanting to help you, even if you don't think so. I hope to bring this level of hope and enjoyment to everyone willing to sit and watch my dumbass play games. I truly think you can do anything. Yes, you. I really hope you liked the video. If you didn't, let me know what I can change. I'm always open to ideas. I'm live every day on Twitch, TikTok, and here on YouTube between 4 PM and 9 PM EST. Adios.